Welcome back to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now let's start with the first story. It's called Work Times. I was working for a major aerospace company. One day, a senior executive VP was standing at the entrance, calling out people who were just a few minutes late. The job is 8 to 5 with an hour for lunch. Then he took it a step further and got in the PA system to make the same announcement. Later that day, we had a 4 PM staff meeting. When 5 PM hit, everyone, except our manager, stood up and walked out. As one of the last people headed for the door, they turned around and said, "The job is 8 to 5 with an hour for lunch." After that, staff meetings were moved to 3 PM. The next story is called Workload. At my workplace, we have a fairly flexible system. If there's nothing urgent happening, we are allowed to do other things. Our tasks are pretty evenly split between customer interactions and administrative work. Now, my coworker is an older woman with some views I find, let's just say, outdated. I already wasn't a fan, but I figured it was best to just keep things professional. Even when she made some questionable comments, I chose to let it go and focus on work. When there wasn't much happening, I'd use the time for creative projects. Admittedly, there were times when I should have been doing admin work instead, but I always dropped whatever I was doing the moment a customer needed help, whether in person or over the phone. That was on me, and I own up to it. She pointed it out, which was fair. I didn't love her tone. It felt condescending, but I was willing to let that go too. If it had stopped there, no problem. The issue? She spends a lot of time chatting. I'm talking up to half an hour at a time, completely ignoring work, leaving everything to whoever else is at the desk, usually me. On top of that, she makes long personal calls, including shopping around for the best price on medical appointments while at work. I tried to bring it up politely. I even acknowledged that she was right to call me out earlier, but I mentioned it would be helpful if she could at least answer the phone while having non-work related conversations. Maybe my tone was off, I don't know, but she did not like that. She got even more condescending and shut me down with a "don't even go there." So I thought, alright then, she's right, admin work needs to get done. Now, instead of multitasking, I'm focusing completely on whatever admin tasks I'm doing at the moment. If a customer walks up, she can stop what she's doing to help. If the phone rings while I'm checking data, well, she made sure to remind me how much better she is at taking calls, so she can keep being the best at it. Of course, I'm still balancing this so customers don't suffer. If something takes too long, I step in. I won't let her phone ring endlessly, but I'm also not going out of my way to make her life easier, while she sheds the day away. The third story is called Two Clients. I work for a company that handles work for HOAs. And yes, I know, HOAs can be frustrating, but I like being able to pay my bills. So here we are. A lot of HOAs have management companies that assign them a manager to help with decision making. That's who receives our invoices. At one point, a manager from one of these companies was looking to leave. My boss, despite my warnings, decided to hire him. Now, she's a difficult person to work for and needs employees who can stand up to her without outright challenging her. But this guy was a challenger, but she liked his background and hired him anyway. Fast forward 2 months of me trying to train someone who thought he knew more than me, but couldn't even use a computer. She got tired of him challenging her and fired him. He started his own management company and went after some of our clients, specifically ones that hadn't secured new management yet. Unfortunately for him, both of the clients he landed were in financial trouble with outstanding balances. That meant we couldn't continue working for them until they paid up. When he took over at the end of last year, we sent him all the past due invoices. Since then, we haven't done much work for either client, but that hasn't stopped him from constantly emailing and asking for meetings to discuss the building. After every meeting, he wouldn't actually pay the invoices. Then he'd come back and complain about getting another bill for the meeting time, which, by the way, is standard practice in our industry. Yesterday, for some reason, he decided to involve me. That was his mistake. He and my boss had been going back and forth for hours, thousands of words, arguing about how we've explained this billing to him so many times, and how we aren't going to waste any more time on it, while, ironically, spending even more time arguing about it. Then he sent this gem. Carefully study these two files and tell me how last month this client had a balance of $5,100 and now they have a balance of $8,400. So I opened both files, and let me tell you, it was a moment. Remember how he took on two of our clients? Well, the $5,100 balance he referenced, that was for client B, not client A. So I replied, please note, the $5,100 invoice is for client B, not client A, as you have attributed. Please see the attached email from December with all outstanding invoices for client A up until that point, and a second email from January with the newest invoice for the time spent explaining the billing in December. To assist you with your accounting, I have also attached an account summary for client A. Just a reminder that client A and client B are two separate clients, and their accounting should be handled separately. Suddenly his tone changed. He was very sorry for the confusion and would go back over all the documentation before letting us know his findings. The last story is called Pizza Boxes. I used to work at a family-owned pizzeria in my hometown. At the time, I had been delivering food for them and occasionally working shifts at the pizza oven for nearly 8 years. Aside from the owner and two of our 3 managers, I was their longest tenured employee. Towards the end of my time there, I started feeling incredibly disrespected and undervalued by both the owner and 2 of the managers. 2 of my regular 4 shifts per week were, unfortunately, shared with a manager who had been there longer than me and another who had started after me. Both of them had personal connections with the owner, and neither of them actually managed anything. Scheduling shifts was left up to the delivery drivers, rate staff and phone staff to figure out among themselves. There was no real managerial oversight. One of these managers, let's call her Karen, had spent about 4 days in a row rudely telling me to fold pizza boxes. Not once did she actually ask. No please, no courtesy, just straight up orders. For those who don't know, when pizza boxes are delivered from wholesalers to pizzerias, they come in stacks of 100 and aren't pre-folded. While there are perforations to make folding easier, they still have to be assembled manually. At our pizzeria, this was the responsibility of the delivery staff. By the 4th day of being ordered around like this, by someone who had been there for less time than me, under a manager title that didn't actually mean anything, I decided to take matters into my own hands. I turned to my delivery partner and said, I'm going to make so many boxes that they'll never ask me to do this again. And that's exactly what I did. I folded enough 12-inch pizza boxes to completely fill the large corner booth in the back. But that wasn't enough. When I moved those boxes to the storage shelf in the back room, I realized I had space to make even more. So I filled the entire booth again. And still, that wasn't enough. Next, I stacked the extra boxes on the one table that no customers ever used. Since that freed up space in the booth, I went ahead and filled it up a 3rd time, completely covering the seating area. Still unnoticed by Karen, I took it a step further, stacking boxes on top of the table. I managed to cover one of the 2 tables in the back with 9 stacks of boxes, before Karen finally noticed and told me to stop. To be fair, I did stop immediately when she told me to, but by that point there was nowhere for large parties to sit and no extra space left for storing the boxes. I jokingly pointed out that I was just going above and beyond to get the job done. Karen was unimpressed and rude. That ongoing lack of respect and appreciation is what eventually led me to leave and work for another local pizzeria, one where the owners actually valued the work I did. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.